Hey everybody, Andreas here. Today is all about Ollama. Ollama is a free open source tool that lets you run AI models locally. So you can have access to a ton of open source models without the need for internet access. You just need to download this straight to your system. I will be using macOS today, and I will show you how we can basically install Ollama to the system, and then we will run it on our terminal. As you can see, it's basically a very typical UI that you will see in places like ChatGPT, for example. But in my opinion, it's a very complete UI system, and the whole experience is way smoother than ChatGPT, and you also have a lot of capabilities that you don't have with ChatGPT. So Ollama, very great tool. Combined with a cool GUI, you basically run all the models that you like locally. So without further ado, let's dive into it and let's see how we can install Ollama super easy. We are now inside ollama.com, the website. Super simple stuff. The famous ones, Llama 3.3, DeepSeek, Phi, Mistral, Llama. And as you can see, super simple, download. It's available for macOS, for Linux and Windows. We are on macOS. It's a very clear installation, the DMG file. Windows, just follow the wizard. And what you will get is basically the prompt to download everything. So now that you've finished with the installation, you will probably be like, okay, but where's the application? There's no need to worry. What you need to do is basically hit Spotlight search or whatever method you use and hit up your terminal. Here, what we're gonna do now is basically set up Ollama and keep it running. In my case, if we go back on Ollama's website and under models, I would prefer to use Llama today. So let's see what kind of versions are out there and available. Okay, I might not use Llama today because it's huge. As you can see, it's 43 gigabytes, and I don't want to wait for that long. And I also don't really have the storage for that. So let's go for something that might be less demanding. Let me see if Llama 3 is actually a lighter model, so we can definitely run Llama 3. As you can see, I was just scouting for models under the ollama.com/search. You can sort out by popular, newest, categories, for whatever your purpose is. It's a very easy navigation. In our case, we're going to use Llama 3. As you can see, you will find what command you need to use in your terminal on the right side of the Ollama page. In our case, the command is Ollama run Llama 3. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna bring up my terminal back, and I'm just gonna paste this command. In my case, I believe that I have already downloaded Llama 3, so it will take me right away to the chat, as you can see, and the message, blah, blah, blah. In your case, nothing's gonna happen. You probably have a download progress here. It will take a couple of minutes depending on your internet speed. It's just 4.7 gigabytes, so it's not the biggest file. It's still gigabytes, but it's a very good amount of gigabytes to run a model locally. So this is the chat basically. I can just type, hey, hello, what's up? And as you can see, Llama is responding to us locally through our terminal, which is super cool. But it's kind of not offering you many capabilities, and it's kind of tedious, etc. So now we're going to see why Open WebUI is a good solution for that, and it's going to give you a nice user experience. We are now on Open WebUI's GitHub page. As you can see, Open WebUI is an extensible, feature-rich, user-friendly, self-hosted AI platform designed to operate entirely offline, and it supports Ollama and other compatible APIs. In our case, Ollama is what matters for us, and this is the GitHub for Open WebUI. You can also see their website, which you can basically, once we have everything set up, you can install new functions to enhance your models. You can search for models that have been fine-tuned by the community and see if there's something that suits your interests or anything that you want to do, and you can run it locally, and you can do whatever tasks you want to do. So Open WebUI is super powerful. And before we open Cursor, make sure that you create a new folder in your system. I named my folder Open WebUI project. This is where I will basically load all of the project files through Cursor. So now we can open up Cursor, I'm gonna open up a new window. We are on a new cursor window, as you can see. We have three options: open a project, clone a repo, or connect via SSH. In our case, we need to clone our repository, which is Open WebUI. It's an open source repository. So all we need to do is provide the repository URL. So we're going to go back to the GitHub of Open WebUI. And what we will do is hit code. The clone option is there, and we will basically copy the following. Let's go back on cursor. Let's hit clone repo again. Let's provide the URL here and click on clone from URL. I chose the one that I just showed you. Let's let it clone the repo, and it will basically open up a new cursor project after that. We are now in cursor, as you can see, and everything now is empty. We don't have any previews, we have nothing, but as you can see, the Open WebUI GitHub has been cloned successfully, which is a big plus for us. And now we're going to hit up chat under the agent feature, and we will be very simple in our language and be like, hello, I just installed Ollama to my system. I now want to use Ollama with the Open WebUI GUI. And just to make sure, I will go back here and and paste the Git, just to make sure. My goal is to be able to use Ollama through Open WebUI GUI. So let's start setting this up. Probably cursor will now scan the whole project files to understand, what we're working with. So it's gonna take all the crucial files like README, a couple of instructions that are necessary. If we have Ollama running, that's also cool. Great, I can see that Ollama is already running on your system. Let's check if it's accessible via its API. That's awesome. If you have Ollama running properly, it's basically gonna run in a certain server inside your system. In my case, it's this localhost. It might change in your case, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna keep on accepting and running all the commands. You definitely need Python. In my case, I have it installed, but Cursor will take care of it if you do not have Python installed in your system. So don't worry about this. As you can see, I have probably not the latest version or something. Cursor is gonna try to run the application directly from the repository. Awesome. Cursor recommends that we need to use the provided run.sh script. Awesome. Okay, we need Docker installed. Amazing. Let's create the virtual environment first. So basically now Cursor examined the project, understood our idea, and it is installing all the required dependencies and making all the required modifications for everything to run smoothly. So far there's nothing that's going wrong. Cursor is setting up virtual environments for Python. That's awesome. Let's give it a few seconds. So we just created a very simple prompt. Hello, I just installed Ollama to my system. I want to use Ollama with OpenWeb GUI. Please set everything up, basically. And while I was accepting a couple of changes, Cursor was taking a look at the directory, trying to figure out what's the possible best way to achieve this through reading README files and other stuff from the OpenWebUI GitHub page, GitHub repo. So the first idea that Cursor had was to use Docker, which is basically an installation method, but it required signing up to platforms and all that, and I didn't really want to get into that. So I asked Cursor if there's another way to install this faster, and the other way was through Python and using Homebrew, which is another installation system, but you can run it way faster by just using commands. So if you don't have it installed, if you don't have any of this installed, Python, Homebrew, or any other idea that Cursor has, it will always make sure that it will install the packages, the dependencies, so there's no need to worry about it. In my case, I didn't have the correct version of Python, So I ran the command directly from inside Cursor. It gave it to me and it worked. Everything worked properly. So now what Cursor did afterwards was that it used Homebrew, as I said, to install the Open WebUI package. So this is what happened right here. Here is where Cursor told me, look, visit the Docker desktop download page, do this, do that. And I'm like, I do not want to use Docker. Let's explore alternative methods. Here are a few using Python pip. And this is what we use basically. So this is the commands that we run. Let's check if you have Homebrew. Let's check if you have Python 3.11. And it basically installed everything that I didn't have. And through Homebrew, we were able to install Open WebUI. As you can see here, boom, a cool text, Open WebUI is installed. And in my case, it was already running in the port 8080. So without further ado, I'm gonna go back to my favorite browser that I used. And if you type localhost 8080 or whatever URL that Cursor is gonna give you, you will basically get introduced to Open WebUI. And if you successfully manage to download models from Llama with the same method that we used before, going on terminal, choosing our favorite models from the Ollama website, and then copying the correct command here. If you do all this, you will see that in Open WebUI, you will have the models that have been installed locally in your system on this cool toolbar. I'm going to just use Llama 3 since this is the one that I wanted to interact with today. And we're going to type something like, hello, we successfully managed to download Llama and then run it through Open WebUI. Boom. Congratulations. As you can see, Llama runs perfectly. It gives us an answer right away. And there's just so many things that you can do inside this cool GUI. I'm not going to dive in deeper into that right now, but I just gave you the coolest way to run Llama, a free open source program that lets you run your favorite AI models locally. And then I gave you the coolest GUI that you can do this with. So this is a video. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Make sure you follow me if you like what you see, and also make sure you follow AI Mastery. It's my private community, and if you are an AI expert, you get a free invite. I would love to see what you're working with, and I would love to see people posting more of the things that they do and their processes, their behind the scenes. I'm doing the same thing through a designer's perspective, so I really want to meet each and every one of you that they're here to build, they're willing to learn. And yeah, see you inside AI Mastery. You get a free invite if you're an AI expert.